All right, we are back, and I think I have it fixed. I thought I had it fixed earlier, but I gotta tell you guys, at this point, it's out of my hands as far as whether or not it's fixed, because earlier I had it fixed, and then it just randomly disconnected. Again, this is, if you're just joining us, we're having a Rhythmic data problem. The Rhythmic connection continues to disconnect, and I know a lot of other people are having the same issue. So, I guess let's get right back to it. Now, I need to ask a favor of all of you. If you ever see my price on screen get out of sync, I'm gonna need you to say, hey, shit's fucked up again. And hopefully it won't. Hopefully it won't. Now, right off the rip, I was checking this with my Thinkorswim. My price is now correct, right? I think I'm good. Yeah, 11. Nice bull body on 11. Kind of a big outsized bar, but still really nice close out of bar 11. Even bar 12 was a half reasonable close, but it was a shrinking bull body. But, alright, it's behind us. Let's keep it moving. Let's keep it moving. All right. Yeah, I think bar 11 must be where we took profit without knowing. So the trade worked out, but that right there is a trader's biggest nightmare. Being in a trade with no way to know where you stand and knowing your server side take profit and stop loss are not going to work because the leader account on the copy trader is disconnected. That's not a good situation. But, you know, I'll tell you what. What's the worst case scenario? I don't even want to say it, but worst case scenario is Trump tweets or something. The market tanks. I'm sitting long with no way to get flat. No way of knowing the price. Worst case scenario, it blows all the fucking accounts. So what? So what? You get them funded again, you're back at it in 2 days. But that didn't happen. We made 4,300 bucks, so we are sitting up 4,500 bucks on the day. So let's get to it, man. Let's do it. All right. Let's get this going. All right, inside close out of bar 15. So we will go next bar and see what we get. Anyone else? I know some of you guys said you had these issues last night. What is up with this? Anyone else having issues with Rhythmic this morning? Some of you must. This cannot just be a me thing. I saw some other traders couldn't get it connected this morning. But Outlaw, those are the bar numbers since the open. So 1 is the first bar of the New York session, and then every other, or I guess every odd bar, it labels. Now that's to help with commentary here. It's also so that I do a daily Q&A called Tomb Talks after the market close for Tomb members. So it makes it easier for them. I have instructions in there on how to get it all set up. It's pretty easy. So they can say, you know, hey, Nico, I got long above 9, took profit on 11. Did I get lucky, or was that, proper execution or whatever? And then I answer it on the daily video. So makes our life easy rather than having to say, hey, the 9:25 bar. And it's like, well, what time zone you in? You can just say, bar 9 or whatever. Two minutes out here from the close of bar 16. All right, now 3 consecutive bear bodies. Could you guys imagine if this baby just reversed and went all the way down and took out the low a day? We stop hunted that thing, had no more data issues all day, and had a $35,000 day. Fuck, let's do it just out of spite. Just out of spite. Minute 10 out. Big old doji close there. What's up, Joe? I think we're back, big dog. Now again, reminder, if you ever look up at my price and I'm looking at that thing say 24/7 and the price is 24,630, I'm gonna need you to speak up. That is a weird situation to have to think about. That should not happen in this space. But hey, gotta do it. All right, 255 out. Pulling on back to that 20 EMA. Let's see if we can get a test. That would be a sizable bar. Might take this and the next. All right, 90 seconds here. You know, when you have a data issue, it's always a little hesitant to pull the trigger on the next trade, but you got to break the ice at some point. And as long as my apex stays connected via Rhythmic, we're fine. When starting bare bottom, what do you think about having point goals? Yeah, I mean, you know, in a reasonably volatile environment, I think having a point goal is totally cool. A better habit that I think you should start right away is have a percentage of the day's range goal. Because that's a little more forgiving and it holds you more accountable in higher volatility environments. If your goal is 5 points, well, let me put it this way. If your goal is 20 points, that might come really easy on a day like, you know, maybe today or last Friday. But you go back a few months and, you know, it might be harder to come by, especially if you're a beginner, 20 points. So what I think you should do is have a percent of the day's range goal, and you should stick with that basically for the rest of your career. So if the day's range is, you know, 100 points, I've said this a lot, 25% of the day's range is a tremendous goal. And if you can hit that pretty consistently, you are in the top 1% of traders worldwide, which sounds crazy. Now, the end of the earth goal, like one of the best traders on the planet goal, is if you can make in points the equivalent on average to the full day's range, dude, you're a monster. That's ridiculous. That is ridiculous. And we should have those ridiculous goals. In the early days, 25% is already a lofty goal. That's tough. In the really early days, maybe you want to set that 5-10%. But those goals, you know what they do? They stretch no matter what the dollar amount is. So they're very forgiving. Again, in lower volatility environments and in higher volatility environments, they hold you accountable to still do the work rather than say, I made my 5 points. It's like, yeah, the day's range was 1,000. So you want to keep that in mind. And also the big one, the more important part of why I think I tell people to do this is it doesn't, if you have a dollar amount goal, it boxes you in, even if right now you think it's high. I mean, that's ideally, that's always going to be growing. What you think is a big day now should not be thought of as a big day 3 years from now, 5 years from now, 10 years from now, 50 years from now. Right now, eventually, someday, you might just want to participate. You might trade to keep yourself fresh. mentally sharp and maybe eventually you size down in older age. That's cool. But, I mean, listen, a big day, if you're like, my goal is to make $5,000 a day, don't do that. Because right now you're like, man, 5 G's a day. If I could average that shit, that's all the money in the world. And that's a lot of money. I'm not going to say, of course, that's a lot of money. You're doing extraordinarily well. But why box yourself in? You might hit that 3 years from now. You might hit that in 8 months. And then you're 34 and you're like, just done growing forever? What the hell? Where's the fun in that? You want to keep playing the game. That's the whole point. Play the game. Make progress in the game. Sometimes you win, sometimes you lose. But by the time you're done playing, you're a whole hell of a lot better. And hey, your life got a lot better along the way. And then when that time comes, you push all your chips back to the middle and head out. But that's the point, man. It's not that deep. Don't box yourself in. All right, minute 38 out here. Let's see what we get. $60 seconds. Let's see if the Bears got anything here. $15 seconds out of the close of this 5-minute bar. Cheryl just joined the tomb. See you inside. See you inside. Live training here this afternoon. First one. All right, 345 out here. You guys think the Bulls take this baby higher? Let's see if we can get 2 consecutive bull bodies. I have got a stop limit buy for the Bulls. Let's see. All right. 246 out. Now, again, we have kind of a lot of hesitation. These are 5-minute bars, so we've seen, well, maybe a half hour of hesitation up in this region. Now, if we can get a clean close out of the bulls and then, boom, roll over second clean close, higher, kind of up out of this muck, then again, I've got a stop limit buy for the bulls if and when that occurs. Decision making is very simple. Good push here so far to the bulls. Right back up into that muck. Need that second bar. Hey, by the way, let's check in with you guys. You don't have to share. It's really no one's fucking business but your own and your family's. But if you'd like to brag a little bit, has anybody taken their first payout since we last checked? Which was a while ago. So hey, if you've taken, well, let's put it this way. If you've taken more payouts than normal, if you've taken maybe your biggest payout to date, or your first payout here in the last like 3 months, what's up? I know it's a whole bunch of you guys. Good close there out of the bulls. All right, 5 minutes. Let's see if the bulls can take this baby higher and give us a nice clean close. Got our 2 days out from first payout. Jackson has. Very good work, guys. All right, 425 out here. Good push out of the bulls. Let's see if they can hold that up. Give us a nice clean close, and that right there is Ram Setup City. We put that out with a stop limit buy. Has to be a clean close. 4 minutes. Lots of work to do still here. Kevin, first payout 10 days ago. Day 1 funded. Take it easy. Consistency gets payouts. Don't try to rush it. You can't rush it anyway. You know, especially Apex. You need those 8 days. All right, 3 minutes here. Let's see. Let's see what we get. James, that's all you can do, brother. Blow some accounts. Fuck it, it's done. Start new evals that day. So what? You know what mistake you made. And, I mean, listen, most of you guys who are blowing accounts, you know, it's a mistake. You're sizing up too big, probably. You're revenge trading. You're averaging in too much, you know, on trades when it doesn't make sense to do so. And you're not starting your position small enough, so when you average in, it gets way too big. And then you get clipped by the trailing drawdown. It's over. If you're trading well, like let's say you're trading something like RAM, you're trading proper size and like a 50K funded at Apex, you're trading 3, 4, 5 micros, something like that. You're not going to keep the accounts for 20 years, right? I mean, if you do that, how the hell do you expect to ever make any money? What's going to happen is you're going to stop blowing accounts based on dumb stuff. And when you do blow an account, it's going to be one of two reasons. One, you had some massive glitch that, like I had today, that didn't go in our direction. We made over 4,000 bucks on it. Ended up being the exact trade that we wanted, the exact profit target, but it got kind of weird for a second. Didn't even have the right price. The data was all messed up. That kind of stuff is going to happen in the prop space. It's getting better with time, but it happens sometimes. Cost of doing business, I call it. Or number two, you just happen to hit that band of, you know, statistical outliers where you happen to lose a whole bunch of trades in a row. You're not doing anything wrong. You're not, you know, let's say you're not betting on ranges in a big trend market. You're not doing something like that. You just happen to lose a bunch of times in a row. That's going to also happen. But if you're trading proper size with, you know, some kind of reasonable price action strategy like RAM, or whatever else you want to use, I'm sorry, it's just the ROI is there. It's there. Right? Figure out what it costs on average to get into your average funded account. All in. Eval costs and activation fee. Per account, what does it cost you to get into it? Per funded account, right? Okay, now you have that number. Now, on average, what is your average funded account worth to you? If that number is bigger than the previous number, you run a profitable trading business. Do you understand? This is not complicated. It's just hard. But when you keep the decision making simple, which is my entire theory here, I don't like being confused, because when you're confused, you don't do consistent things. And when you don't do consistent things, you don't make money consistently. When you do that, I think you're going to do very, very well. And then it's just a matter of scaling horizontally. That's it. That's it. All right. So right now, this little range is what I'm, thinking about. Now it looks tight. It's not all that tight. We're talking maybe 50-ish points, 55 points maybe. But it's a single bar, essentially back and forth. At least can be 1 to 2 bars. So, do I want to trade that range? Well, no, and here's why. Because the context right now is range. But it's a sloppy range, right? We're getting early rejections and late rejections. So, realistically, for a profit target, if you're going to trade inside of a range, here's how I think about it. Really simple. You take a rubber band. When you let it loose, it flails around, right? It's loose. You pull it taut. eventually you get to a point where if you pull it any more, you know, it kind of stops. You pull it any more, it's going to snap. That is the edges of the range. And when you let it loose, it has nowhere to go anymore because now it's just loose. If you let go, it's not going to snap back. It's just going to fall. Or stay in the middle if it were to hover in this comparison, right? So, realistically, in my head, what makes logical sense, which is the entire thing with RAM. If it doesn't make logical sense, fuck off. What makes logical sense? Well, probably at absolute most a profit target of about halfway into the range, about that 50% point. You know, you're getting short up here, you're getting long down here. Can you really hold it the full range? Now you're basically back to 50-50 in terms of probability of which direction it goes when you're back to the 50% point. Okay, so we have that locked in at absolute best. You're talking maybe half that range, so I don't know, maybe 25 points. But then you get a breakout attempt like this that fails. That goes 30 points, more than 30 points. So where do you manage your risk? Down here? I mean, I guess you could here, maybe. Up here? You see what I mean? The math ain't really weighing out, brother. It's not really working that well because it's a little too volatile and a little too sloppy. So what's better, and it looks a little, you know, compared to the volatility on the day, it's a little tight. Big ranges are great. We had, I don't know, yesterday, the day before. So yesterday or Friday, we had a big trading range. Those big trading ranges where it's basically the whole day, you can get caught taking kind of a continuation trade on the edges once or twice, and then you're like, I know what's happening. And then you can take continuation just back and forth basically the rest of the day because it's so wide that it's offering continuation inside of the big range because the range is the whole day. Those are really nice days. It can take a second to kind of figure out what's going on. Boom, once you do, maybe you start off in a hole or you get lucky on the first trade. You know, maybe you start off in a hole, you claw your way back and have a nice green day. Happens a lot, but you have to, you know, see that after the first one or two attempts, maybe that fail. This is a really tight range. So here, I'm looking to see, all right, I don't care which way we go higher, come lower. Just give me 2 to 3 consecutive bodies. And we can put on a nice, clean continuation trade. Rather than trying to mess around with this little range that just isn't really, the proportions are off. James started trading 8 months ago. Got payouts April through June. Back on track. Good to have you back, James. It's good to hear. Love it. All right, 310 out. Yep, that's the bar labels, bar numbers. Makes it much easier to discuss with different time zones. I primarily put it on there. Not only does it help the stream a lot, but it makes it a lot clearer for Tomb members to ask me questions for the daily Q&A Tomb Talks. So again, they can say, hey, you know, I don't know. I got short below 8, got stopped out on 9 above the wick high of 8. What did I miss? Or did I miss something? Was it a good trade and it just didn't work? In that case, I'd say, I would have waited for at least 1 to 2 more bars, absolute minimum, because you're essentially in an attempted reversal with stops up top above bar 1. Doesn't matter if you're in Europe, Australia, wherever the hell, we can talk without confusion when the bars are labeled. So there you go. It labels every other one, obviously. In between is the even bars. Minute 50 out here. All right, 20 seconds. Here's the test of the low of the range and the 20 EMA, which are essentially within the same 10-point range now. I'd love to see the bears just take this baby through, put in another solid bear body close down here. Stop limit sell goes out. We book up 60 points. New bar, 455 out. Yeah, V, it's you can find it online. There's a lot of variations of it. It's right. I just give you the file in the tomb. I'm not saying you have to like join to get an indicator. It's just a data display. It just helps make it easier to ask questions. So you certainly don't have to get that, but I mean, if you plan on it anyway, it is there. 2 minutes out. All right, you bears, let's take this baby back into the day's range. We've had about enough of those bulls at this point here. All right, this range is just brutal at this point. ATR still 42. That's a very, very good ATR this time of day on the 5-minute chart. That is tremendous, but we're basically one bar back and forth in this trading range, which I know a lot of traders, when this kind of thing starts to happen, they go, okay, good. Things have slowed down. This is where I make my money. Probably not. Probably not. The edge is much, much harder to come by. Right in the middle of that range, that is for algos and degenerates. And if you first of all, if you need it to slow down to take trades, you're trading too big. All right, I'm going to pull it out of the hat. I'm pulling the trick out. What do you guys think? I'll be back in a few minutes, quick break. And when I get back, this market is going to break out 100 points. Be right back. Don't go anywhere. Like the stream. All right, what do you guys think? Are we gonna break out here? Making an attempt. Come on, Bulls, take this baby up through. Bears knocking us right back down. Just want to see a break out of this trading range. I do not care which direction to the downside would be best for me, but I don't really care. Why to the downside? One reason. It opens up the possibility, and since the 20 EMA is kind of up near us anyway, breaking down opens up the possibility, if we were to get a big sell-off, of a stop hunt. Which, stop hunting trades, man, when they're plentiful, those babies pay the bills. Big backbone of RAM is hunting stops. All right, bit of volatility here. Kenji just bought a 50K through Take Profit using code BIG. Wish me luck, nervous as hell. Hey, listen, Kenji, there is not a damn thing to be nervous about. Trade small, trade your plan, do things that make logical sense, don't move stop losses, don't average down. At least not right now, and in 10 years, maybe you're averaging into scalps and stuff, but that, different game. Different game. Play the one that's easier right now. The one that's easier and I think more consistent, but requires a bit more patience, is just waiting for the setup to come to you, especially when trading prop. You do that, trade small, be patient, take good price action, RAM setups, if that's what you're choosing to trade, and there's not a damn thing to be worried about. Not at all. No luck involved whatsoever. Just do your job, leave, come back tomorrow, do it again. You look up in 3 months, you've got payouts under your belt. Oh, maybe not even. 4 minutes. Yeah, media, what are you gonna do, brother? What are you gonna do with all this fucking money? It's a concern, man. It's a concern. 340 out. Come on, somebody, break this baby out. We've had about enough of this range. All right, 240 out. I gotta tell you guys, how's my price looking right now, by the way? Because you guys know that we had if you're just joining us here, on the last stream that we did this morning, took a trade, had massive data issues with Rhythmic mid-trade. I gotta tell you, I have 5 charts pulled up. A couple of them are out of sync. Particularly the daily. Now, it's not out of sync by a lot, but half second here or there, it's wrong. Which is extraordinarily frustrating. We have made 4,500 bucks today. But let's see if something sets up. I'm confident that everything's squared away. It's just weirded me out a little bit that we're seeing a little bit of misalignment in price across charts. All right, there we go, bulls. There we go, bulls! Keep that pushing. 30 seconds out. Let's see. Can we get a nice clean close here out of the bulls? Second nice clean close out of the bulls. And then I have a stop limit buy ready for him. Hold that up, bulls. 20 seconds. Hold that up, bulls. 5 seconds. All right, we'll take that. We'll take that. Outside close. Good. All right, bulls. Lots of work to do. Take us well up through 24.8. Give us a nice clean close near the high of the current bar. Obviously well above the previous bar's wick high. Obviously well above 24.8 so that we can get a bar that is not very obviously shrinking massively. And let's see what we can do. $330 out. Michael, what balance do you think I should have on my live before going to 1 minute? All right, listen. You have choices. How aggressive do you want to be? I think a good balance is to look at your account and you should be able to lose between 7 and 10 trades in a row, maybe 7, 8, 9 trades in a row before the account blows. Some of you just heard me say that and you're like, fuck. You're like, I can lose 2 in a row. That's a problem. And then you're like, why am I blowing so many accounts? Trading's a scam. No, you're fucking up. You're trading way too big, big dog. Chill out. Consistency puts money in the account. You're like, but how am I supposed to make any money? Not my problem, dude. You're already not making any money. Size down, big man. You're trading too big. Was there some ego involved? You're by yourself, homeboy. Chill out. Size down. You'll get, I'm telling you, trade good, price action. If you want to trade RAM setups, have at it, man. I think it's a good idea. It's a great way to trade. If you're in a 50K funded, trade 3, 4, 5 micros. Don't move stops. Don't average in, at least at first. You do those things, man. I think it's a matter of time. I'm serious. I'm not saying that. I don't care. I'm serious. I think if you do those things, it's a matter of time until you're taking payouts relatively consistently. And I gotta tell you, you look at the average household income in America, it's crazy. It's crazy. People can't make sense of like trading for a living. They're like, I can't make sense of making, 10,000 plus a month. It's like, dude, I can't make sense like of the average American household income. That should be your mindset. You're like, motherfucker, I can't make sense of the money I currently make. We're broke, homeboy. That should be your mindset. And then you're like, trading is my option here. That's what I like. That's what I want to do. I'm like halfway to making it work. That's my path. And then you do that, and I think it's going to be a matter of time if you do all the things I previously stated, where you're like, I'm making more money in payouts consistently, or even in a personal account consistently, than I make at my job. And my job is taking away from my trading. Then you have a decision to make. That can happen quickly. It doesn't have to take years. It doesn't even have to take a year. All right, shrinking bull body. Gotta go next bar, 5 minutes. $425 out. Damn straight media. Yeah, sometimes it is that simple. A lot of times it's not. Context is super important. Which, by the way, the first ever members only live training for members of the Tomb is happening today in 3 hours. So go join up and I'll see you there. And if you can't make it live, it gets archived. You can watch it whenever you want, 24 hours a day if you want. All right, baby, 3 minutes out. Let's see. Can the Bulls do it to him? Again, I gotta see this bull bar grow a bit compared to that previous bar. That would be very, very ideal. 2 minutes. Joe was up 6 hundo in my PA account when we started the stream. Trade evade froze for me. Reset it. Close the position. Down 400. Just crawled back to break even. Yeah, I mean, this kind of stuff happens. It happens. 90 seconds out, but I'm telling you guys, when that kind of thing happens to you, just move on. Alright, fuck. That sucked. I mean, you know, again, worst case scenario, like we talked about earlier, all your accounts blow. So what? You walk out of your office, your family's healthy. Who gives a shit? It's not that deep. You get to continue playing the game. That's the blessing. Get right back in your evals, get them back. In 4 days from now, you're right back rocking. 2 days from now. And a week from then, you'll barely remember what happened, probably. Unless you let it. Alright, 45 seconds out, let's get ready. Clean this baby up. Alright. "30 seconds out, copy trader. Engaged. Gonna need to see this bull body. I'd like to see it grow a little more. I want to see it a bit bigger than that middle bull body in this 3 consecutive bull bar sequence. And I gotta see this bull body close up here much closer to 840 than it currently sits. In that case, I would throw out a stop limit buy. Not there. Half that bar is wick. All right. No trade. Next bar. Let's see what we get. 455 out. DM, can you explain the RAM entry criteria? Okay, so context is so important. And I could sit here and say, well, I mean, 2 or 3 consecutive bodies growing, closing near their high or low. Enter with a stop limit, buy or sell. In a range, do something similar. Enter with a limit, looking for more reversion on... You know, most of the time it's going to be stop limit entries, but sometimes you end up entering with limits in certain scenarios. If I simplified it, DM, for all you guys, I would be doing you a great disservice. I'm not trying to say, oh, it's this big complicated thing that you can't understand. Fuck all that. I'm trying to make this as simple as possible. But if I oversimplified it, like a lot of other strategies that don't produce results or produce winning traders, I would be doing you a great disservice, and you wouldn't trade it the same way that I do. So the best way is to watch. And if you want to pull that big lever and move quicker, join the tomb. Or not, do whatever you want. But once you kind of get it, once you kind of understand what I'm looking for with RAM, I think it gets really simple. The decision making is easy. It's second nature. You show up to work. You do what you need to do. You make the best decisions you can, and you leave. You don't break rules, number 1. And you look up every couple of weeks and you're doing pretty well. But those of you guys who've been around for even just a few days, I think you pick up pretty quick. 2 minutes. Come on, bulls. Come on, bulls. What you got? All right, minute 15 out. So, a little sequence like this. I know some of you might be thinking, well, it's a 3-bar sequence, right? That's 3 bull bodies. Yeah, it is, but look. Big outsized bull bar, shrinking bull body. Outside close, but shrinking. What does that tell us? It tells us the balance is a little different than it was here between buyers and sellers. So I say, okay, I'll give it one more opportunity. Let's see if we can get a nice, clean, growing bull body. Growing compared to the middle. And we didn't. The body's actually a little smaller. Got wicked back. This happening after this bar, after that sequence, that's not unexpected at all. Because what does that tell us about the balance on this bar? Sure, it closed as a bull body. 29 did, right? You have that wick, shrinking body, and now you roll over and you get a small little bear body. That's not a long. Now, had this bar popped up and closed way the hell up here at 24, 851, 53, 56, whatever, boom. Fix the setup, clean things up from this middle bar, returned closer to this balance. And we've got a clean setup once again. Stop limit buy goes out. 1 or 2 ticks above the wick high of the bar upon the close. And we give it 15 to 30 seconds depending on the quality of the close. The smaller the wick, the more time I give it, up to 30 seconds to get a fill. And then we risk the signal bar. Decision making is very, very simple there. That's the goal. When you're confused, you make mistakes. When you're confused, you do dumb things. When you're confused, you're emotional. When you know exactly what to do and it's second nature, all that stuff gets better. Including the psychological problems. Everyone's trying to fix the psychological issues. Let me tell you something really, really important. Listen. You can't fix those by going straight at them. You fix them by cleaning up your trading and making yourself so you're never confused. You look at every single bar, you know exactly what you need to do. Then it's just a matter of sitting in the chair and being the person to execute it. And over time, your discretionary decision making gets better. And your edge slowly improves. Yeah, the channel member here on YouTube, guys, the channel member thing, that's not the one you want. If you want to be like VIP on the stream, you're like, hey, cool, fine. But that's not what you want. You want to be a member of the tomb, if anything. You definitely don't need to be a channel member, but it does, I don't know. I see their messages more often, it makes it pop, but like, that's not the one you want. That's if you just want to get fancy in the chat. All right, 2 minutes, 10 seconds out. All right. Minute 15. Glued to 24.8 here. Really no importance in my head to that level. All right, small little bare body. Well, after all the data issues today, our trade worked. 4,500 bucks. Small on the trade count here today, but happy things worked out. All right, guys. Hey, I'm gonna see you all tomorrow morning. Okay, back here at it again with zero data issues tomorrow, and we'll be all set to trade normally, booking up a half decent day even after all the issues here today. I'll tell you guys what, the first ever members only training here today is in 3 hours for members inside the tomb. Here, I'll drop the there's the link in the chat if you want to join up for that, and I will see you all there. 2 o'clock Central. We'll be doing a live training and Q&A surrounding likely the most important pillar to understand in terms of trading RAM, which is, can anybody tell me? I'll just tell you. Context! It is context. If you do not understand context, you're going to have a hell of a time trading any strategy that involves price action, especially RAM, but if you get it, I think you see things a lot more clearly. So it makes a lot of sense to start off there. That's where we need to start off, so we're going to be doing that. All right, guys, hey, back at it right here on the free live trading stream tomorrow morning. I will see you here. If you have not yet subscribed to the channel, and I'll see you tomorrow. All right, guys, hey, be patient. Let the trade come to you. When it does, hit it hard, baby. No fear. Nothing to be stressed out about. Do your job, accept the outcome, and leave. Come back tomorrow. All right, guys. See you tomorrow.